I have just been having trouble. I've actually taken the starter motor bolts off. They're 13mm. They were absolute bugger to get, but I managed to get it off with this small sort of wrench. And there's two at the top. You won't be able to see there. There's one there and kind of one there and one underneath. Hopefully now, I did buy another tool to try and get behind, but that didn't work. So, well, I've got that off now, so hopefully the gearbox should move freely. 'Cause I'm on mission like the 007. No, it's not the coronavirus. It is off. It's taken me a little bit longer than I thought, but it's a bit mucky. This is the slave clutch cylinder that I will be replacing, so I might just give everything inside a little bit of a clean as well before it all goes back together. Okay, so to be clear, there's one engine gearbox bolt there. Like I said, the three here for the starter motor that need to come off. There's another one here. You see that? There's another one here, which I think is the sort of engine gearbox mount to the subframe to here. Then you've got this bolt here, and then last but not least another one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gearbox bolts plus 3 starter motor mount bolts, so you need to get those off. The clutch and clutch plate is off. Now there's a little bit of corrosion here, that's just been on the floor, but this is very, very thin. Yeah, so obviously you can tell the difference straight away. The thinness on that compared to that is just so different. Of course, brand spanking new in the bin. Same with this. Just it's worn in here a little bit, not too bad, but obviously the new part is spankingly new. So the flywheel itself is obviously just got a bit of movement in, and I don't think it should be doing that. You can see the wear marks here. That's all the rattling that was happening. So let's get this off and get the new one on. So I'm just giving the gearbox a little bit of a clean with white spirit. Kind of rude not to really whilst it's out. What I'm just going to do is give it a bit of a jet wash as well. I've blocked the ends here where the drive shafts go in, so no water to get in, but yeah. looks a little bit cleaner than it was. So it's got all the grease, grime, road stuff, clutch, anything like that. So now next job is to put this new baby on. So you can tell the bearing's gone on this, so it did need replacing as well. That would have made a noise. This is fairly simple to get off. All it did was just two 10mm bolts, and there was a little bit of force and just to pull it off. Right, let's put the new one on. So I put the new one in. That was fairly easy. I just had to slightly carefully sort of bend this so it sort of went better in the hole. That's where the hydraulics will come through. But that bearing is completely different than the old one, and that slides in and out like that. So what I've also done with this clutch slave cylinder, I've primed it. So I've taken it back off, compressed it, and then this pipe I've put in some brake fluid or clutch fluid, then actually release this. Now that means it's primed, but when I put it on the gearbox, this probably goes back a little bit and some will come out, but at least it will actually be primed. I'm not sure if the professionals do that, but that's what I think, or that's what I've done anyway. Whilst the gearbox is off, I've just decided to undo this. This is where you actually put the gearbox oil. So if anyone wants to know, this is actually the back of the car. So the front of the car is there, and this is the back of the car. So this is where the oil goes in. But I just thought, while it's off, and me not having to struggle around, is just sort of loosen it a little bit. Right, so I have a problem. So the jaw mass flywheel, this section I had to cut off because it was wearing all the bolts out, and as it was moving, and that's what the rattling was. I'm not sure really how it all works, but it's worn this bit down, and I cannot get any purchase from this. So I'm going to try and weld my old sort of torque bit on that I ruined earlier. Weld that on. This is why I had to take all this off, because it worn all that down and I needed to get to it. So once that bolt comes off, then this can come off, but it's off. But as you can see, I had no choice. I had to just cut that bolt off. All the other bolts come off. So what I'm going to try and do, I've just squared the edges off this. Be very careful not to touch any of this. And I'm just going to try and turn it and get it off. But I had no option. But it was messy. That's what I did. But it had to come off. So there was no other option in my mind. So as you can see, clean holes, it's all off. That was what was showing. Basically that's what was showing. I carefully square cut the edge and then put this on it, and then just tried to shock it, and slowly it come undone. So woohoo! So now it's time to put the mass flywheel on, and if you look at the back here, there's a little locating pin here. And here, if you look, so you actually look here on the drive shaft itself, you can see the locating pin. So I will match that up. If you can see, I did actually wire brush around all the tinware just before I put the flywheel on. I also cleaned up around my sort of working space from the mess I'd made by cutting off the bolt head and part of the flywheel. So I bought myself a flywheel locking tool. I have to really to torque these bolts up properly, so these need to sort of stay still. I should have got it before, but I just clamped the flywheel in. But this was only $9.99 from Halfords. Hopefully it will do the job. So at the moment I'm finding it hard to find on the internet the torque settings, but I have found a chart, an Alfa chart, and it says here for the 2 litre ones 82 foot per pounds, is it? Which is what I've torqued it up to here. Now on some of it says 30, 33, but I've done 82. Someone's going to tell me I've probably done it wrong, but I think that higher is better. The lower just didn't seem to tighten it up that much, really, compared to how it was when I first took them off. Okay, so just in case anyone wanted to know which way around this goes, it actually says here gearbox side, so that's easy to know. So I've just torqued up the clutch plate to, I found something on the same chart. Is it 18 foot per pounds? Maybe I'm saying that wrong, but I've just torqued those up, and remember they came off fairly easily when I took them off. So it seems about right, so I'm following that Alfa chart. Also to centralise the clutch inside, use this tool to just centralize it before I clamped it all down, which was, I think this is like a 14mm spark plug socket, so that fitted in nicely, made sure that was centered, and then bolted it all down. Okay, now it's time to put the gearbox in. So this is going to be fun manhandling this, but I'll have to put it onto the jack somehow and then just balance it and jack it up and then put it on. Okay, so I'm just using the engine hoist to lift the gearbox. The engine is chopped up in 2 places there, and I've got a jack under the gearbox to take pressure because I think this arm might come up too high, so it's just to put it in there so I can readjust that. Yeah, I'm getting it up to the point. I need to get it just past this bit. Now I can support it better. Okay, so after a lot of struggling, it's come in. Well, I knew it's gone in because this squirted out a little bit of the clutch fluid or brake fluid, meaning it's had contact, and also under here as well. So I'm going to try and tighten a few things up, get it a bit tighter, and then I can release the crane so I can get under there. So I've got 3 bolts on, 4 I think. I'm just putting the engine mounts back on, jack the engine up, and then I can take the chocks from underneath, and then I can get underneath to the rest of the screws then. Okay guys, well, the gearbox is in. It's getting dark now, so I'm going to pack up, but the chocks are away, and yeah, I'll have to come back obviously another day and start putting it all back together, but all the bolts are on now. Actually I've just got to put the starter motor back in, but the gearbox and engine is being supported by the engine mounts again, so that's good. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. See you later.